Back at the allotment today for a second afternoon doing clearing up and getting ready to get our garlic and onions in, and 2 beds this afternoon to sort out. So I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do and then crack on with it. So here we have our tomato bed, which as you can see has still got tomatoes growing. We've also got nasturtiums in here, some calendula here. I think this is some vivifew behind the calendula. So calendula here, vivifew here. Got a couple of courgettes in there. Cucumbers. Why am I calling them courgettes? They're cucumbers. And I'm basically going to tidy up this bed, take these tomatoes out. Might also have a look at how big the roots are on these tomatoes to see how they have done up here. And then over here, this is the other bed that we're going to be sorting out, which has got our runner beans on. And then over here we have peppers. I can see there is a pepper there that I didn't harvest. This is where our onions are going to be this year, and this is where our garlic is going to be. So I'm going to get on and sort out these beds now. It's always best to pick tomatoes so that they've got a stem on it if you're going to be ripening them. So rather than take them off here. So try and leave a stem if you can. If you can't, you use them for something else. Just to say that here, I think you can see there's quite green string. This is actually plastic string, which I found I had to use. I don't really like using plastic string, but I use plastic string simply because the weight of the fruit was dragged. Usually I use the green string or raffia, which can then go straight into the compost. So obviously with this green string, this is actually going to be going into rubbish, not into the compost. So the tomato plants and the cucumber plants are actually out of here now. I've left the nasturtiums in for a while. Gonna give it a wee, but what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to have a look at the root system of this tomato here to see how much root it actually created. This was effectively no dig bed this year, but it had been dug the previous year, but the soil under here was really quite pebbly. So let's just see what's there. It doesn't feel huge. Oh, bigger than I thought. So let's get that bit of plastic. That's the other thing that you need to make sure when you do use this plastic string, make sure you don't leave any in, because it's bad for the environment and will take 400 years or whatever to decompose. We've got the weed. We have a few brambles that come up in here. But look, that's, what was that? That was a, this was a marmond root. It's clearly spread quite well. It was well watered. But yeah, not a huge amount of root really for what we got out of it. It just goes to show if the soil had maybe even been better and we'd had less of a dry summer, we might have got more. But there's still roots here. Look, that's the root from the same thing. If we come over here, this one over here was a what do you call it? San Manzano, I think it's called. That one seems to be tougher to get out. It's a weed. Yeah, you see that seemed to have more of a root system on it, a deeper, wider root system. This one again was the marmond, like the first one. Less of a root system. That's like the original one. Not sure if you can see that. This is another San Manzano. Gosh. Okay. I think what this does show is that the root system on those plum tomatoes was actually bigger than the root system on the marmond, which is the bigger tomatoes. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with the rest of the bed now. Okay, so what I'm going to do to this bed, just weed it. I'm going to leave the nasturtiums in, leave the calendula here in, and the fever, is it fever fuel or chamomile? Not sure. And in about a week we'll be planting garlic into here. The reason that this bed and our other bed over here, this one here, need to go is because the compost that is in our compost bin is going to go on these two beds. find the easiest way to take beans down is to take the actual outside poles away first and cut the bottom of the beans away, and then take the root out afterwards. Just going to go and do a close-up and lever some of these roots out. When you do take beans and things out, and you can put them straight onto the compost, but it's a good idea. It's on a beetroot leaf. Not sure if you can see that bug, some type of shield bug. And over here there's a ladybird. I'm not sure if you can see, there's a ladybird crawling through. What we're going to do is, you'll have seen I've just dumped everything. Let me pull you up. Dumped everything here for the time being. I'm going to leave that there for a couple of days and let all the bugs crawl out of it that want to crawl out of it, and then it's going to go into the compost. That makes sure that when you put things into the compost, particularly if you're putting it into a hot compost bin, which I know some of us do now, you're not actually putting beneficial creatures or any creatures, or at least as few creatures as possible, into the hot compost bin where they will die. Okay, so I'm going to get on with the rest of the bed now. All of that Cavolo Nero will stay in. Calendula I'm going to leave in, but behind here is where we picked our peppers, and they are all coming out, and then this bed is going to have a weed. Good idea to take your sticks out first, particularly if you have a tendency to almost poke your eye with sticks. I think it's always the thing when it gets to this time of year, you need to sacrifice some things in order to put your other harvests in. Your other potential harvests in. So it's important that we get this bed clear for onions, because that's where we're going to grow here next. Gosh, these have got quite a substantial root system on them themselves. What I did notice this year, not sure if you can see here, that some of the peppers were actually nibbled away. The sort of bark, the outside skin of the pepper was nibbled away about an inch or two above the ground. That happened about a couple of months ago. Not quite sure what that was. Maybe, we don't have rabbits, but maybe it was maybe a squirrel had a go at it. Here is the tidied up tomato bed, or as it should be called now, garlic bed. The nasturtiums have been left in, and there's a couple of calendulas and another one, can never remember what it is, chamomile, that's what it is, it's chamomile I think, in here. And you can see from this long shadow here that, in fact you can see better maybe from my long shadow here, that it is late afternoon in autumn. So this bed is now ready to be top dressed with the compost from the pallet compost bin. And then if we move over, my shadow again, I look quite slim like that. Look at that. Wow. Mind you, it may be a bit odd if I was like, I don't know, 26 feet and 2 foot wide. This is, or was, the runner beans, and then up here was where we had our peppers in. Not ideal place for peppers because of this buddleia, but that's where they were. I'll know better for next year. So both of these beds have been weeded and just sort of, oh, it's a big bit of green there. I don't know where that's come from. I'll take that off in a minute. Been weeded and are ready to be top dressed, as I say, with the pallet bin compost. The detritus is here, and the canes are all here. There we are. So if we go over here, I sort of got into the mood of it all, and you will notice, well, if you watch the videos, you'll notice that our bean canes for our very late sown French beans, yellow French beans, due to the disastrous bean season, the canes and the beans have gone, and this is where we have the butternut squash harvest that you may have seen. I'm not sure that's been put up quite yet, but I just thought while I was in the mood that I would get that going. If we come over here, sorry about that. Look at these amazing fennel. Yes, they've all gone to seed, but isn't that a spectacular sight? And we come over here, big weed needed, but we've still got some lavender here. This is its second flush, so the bees are enjoying that when they're here. And then look down here, look at those. Wow, that's a side shoot that we put into the corner of this raised bed here. And down here is possibly the biggest tomato that we will have this year, or this one here, from a side shoot that was taken off in June. Anyway, look at that. That's just amazing. It just amazes me. Can you know, this seed head here, this flower head rather, is going to produce hundreds, if not thousands of seeds, certainly hundreds of seeds, and just one seed produced this. That's just incredible. I never ever stop being amazed at nature. Anyway, that's the next bed there that needs sorting. We've still got some peppers in there, as you can see here. We've got beetroot, Chioggia beetroot, which the squirrels are still enjoying. They seem to like that. If I come in here talking about nature again, can you see? Oh, I got trapped on something. Little ladybird there. There, little ladybird on that pepper. Anyway, that's it really for today. Spinning around to the sun, all the canes are here. What will happen here, by the way, is we're going to turn this into an edge bed, just like, and this one here into an edge bed, and here into an edge bed, just like all of these. And this one here. Because I think we've got the balance to do it at the moment, and B, it really does save on weeding. This no dig really does save on weeding. Anyway, there we are. That's it for today. Let me just spin you around. I'm not really in the right place. The sun's there, as you can see. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Please do subscribe. Yeah, that's about it. It's been a glorious day down here today. Richard's at home doing other stuff, and I've had a couple of hours down here. So I think it most probably another whole day, 2 afternoons, or morning, afternoon, or a whole day, and everything will be ready for the autumn. But then, are we ever really ready for autumn and winter? I don't think so.